Hi everyone, I'm Paul DiGiuseppe and I'm the planning director for the town of Norton. And I'm here today with Brian Shurtleff, the owner of Bog Iron Brewing, located at 33 West Main Street here in Norton, to let him tell the story of Bog Iron. Hi Brian, how are you?
Good, how are you, Paul?
I'm doing great. So Brian, when did you guys start?
So this is always a little bit of a dicey question to answer. Our logo actually says 2011 because that is when the LLC and the business was created. But because of a quirk of what we actually do here, there's a lot of licensing and permitting and things like that. So our first beer was actually produced on January 1 of 13. So it's a little tricky because right now a lot of people are asking us, oh, are you guys going to do a 10-year anniversary? And we're not really sure whether or not we should or not.
And when that might be?
Yeah, exactly. So
well, do two 10-year anniversaries.
Exactly. So we're not exactly sure when the 10-year anniversary, but that's the answer.
So what inspired you to start Bog Iron Brewing?
Sure. So we originally started with three original owners, myself and Frank, who's working behind the bar tonight, and our third partner, Matt, who, because he's actually crushing his day job, has moved on to greener pastures, so it's just Frank and I now. We were all longtime home brewers, and that's kind of cliche because that's how most breweries start these days. We were longtime home brewers. We were all kind of foodies and kind of got into brewing as an extension of that. And I make the joke all the time saying, every home brewer's always dreamed of starting a brewery. We were the three that were just dumb enough to actually do it.
So you all have an extensive amount of brewing in your background. So tell us about the beers that you're brewing.
Sure.
Like what's on tap now?
Sure. Yeah, so all three of us, I've been brewing now, oh my God, I can't even do the math, something like 29 years now. Frank's been brewing even longer than that because he's even older than I am. We do tend to stick to more traditional styles, but that said, we try to have as many different styles on as possible. So when you come here, it's not going to be all IPAs, which is not necessarily a bad thing if that's what you enjoy. But we tend to spread it around. We do have some IPAs on. We try to have a stout on. We have really light beers. A Pilsner we have on right now. Our blonde ale is super popular. So we try really, really hard to have a tap list that's going to appeal to as many people as possible.
Great. So what about food? When people come here, can they get food as well?
Sure. Yeah, this is something we're trying to iron out quite a bit right now. Bog Iron doesn't do food. However, we have food here, and that sounds really weird. During COVID, we have a friend of ours who was an ex-chef at Farmer's Daughter over in Easton. He started his own catering business. Because we were required to have food here during the whole COVID thing, we basically subleased a little tiny piece of our space to him, and he provides all of our food. So when people come here, whenever we're open, he's here. He is our in-house chef / food catering, however you want to call it. The only thing that's a little awkward right now, which we're trying really hard to streamline, is when you come in, it's unfortunately two different things. So you have to get the beer from us and the food from him, but we're trying to work on that.
So you've been here, let's say 8-10 years.
Yeah, right.
So what's the future for Bog Iron?
Yeah.
What are your plans?
Sure, yeah. So anybody who's been here at all has known that we've been trying really hard. I'm hesitant to say this, but it's the reality. We've been trying really hard to get out of here for years, and the reason is...
And we've been trying hard to keep you here.
Yeah, I know you have. No, I know you have. And it's certainly not the town's fault, but we've been artificially capped here in this space because of the sewer situation and parking and things like that. Well, now the sewers are here, and the town just opened this town parking lot, which is an unbelievably massive help for us. The combination of those two things has allowed us to actually stay here. So we literally had some contractors in today, literally a couple hours ago. We've had our architect working on it for a couple of weeks, where our plan is to really completely redo this space that we're sitting in. This space right here has really been temporary for the COVID crisis. Our original space is a little tiny closet of a space on the side for anybody who's been here before and recognizes that. But with this, our plan is to open up the front of this building, kind of beautify the beer garden out front, so it's a lot more attractive from the street. And our plan is now that the sewers are here and the town parking lot's here, our plan is to be here for a long time.
can I ask, going back a little bit, what made you choose Norton and this location?
Sure. It's not a very exciting answer, unfortunately. I've lived in Norton now for 20-something years, and when we first started, it's a quirk of our licensing where, and this goes back to the 2011, 2013
Right.
thing, in order to actually apply for your brewing license, you need to have a signed lease or a deed in hand. So we needed to sign a lease, then apply for the license, which typically takes at least a year. So we were trying to find really the smallest, cheapest place we can find, so we didn't have to pay a huge amount of rent for a year. Being a Norton resident, I drive by this building all the time. I saw a little tiny for lease sign. I contacted the landlord, and our original spot in this building was only 399 square feet. I think we paid $418 a month, all utilities included. So that's where we started.
And you've grown quite a bit since.
Yeah, so now we went from 399 square feet. Right now I think we're at something like 13,000, 14,000 square feet in this building.
So another question, looking at the crowd here, you've got a lot of people here. You get a lot of different people. What can people expect? What do they
Sure.
experience when they come to Bog
Sure.
Iron?
Yeah, this kind of goes to our ethos and something we've strived for since day one of opening up our tap room. Anybody who's been here for more than 10 minutes has probably heard me say these exact words. And I'm sorry I have to give you that disclaimer, but I always say it's a really, really cheesy expression, but our biggest goal is, and there's a lot of reasons for and background for this, but our biggest goal is to be the living room of the community, and I think, and I hope that's what people experience when they come here. We have regulars that come here all the time, and see other familiar faces, so they can sit at
Right.
the bar or sit around, and if they want to have a conversation, there's always a familiar face that they can have that with. We intentionally don't have televisions in here. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just not what we're trying to do. Now, yeah, we're going to show Pat's games and little things here and there, but for the most part, this is a space for people to come, hang out. If they want to just be among their friends, they can do that. But if they want to have a conversation with someone around the bar, it's a really easy place to do that.
Yeah, and it is. It is a wonderful place, and it just seems very welcoming to so many different people.
Thank you.
One other thing too, Brian, is how does Bog Iron work with the community?
Sure. Yeah, we've been involved in a lot of things. One of the things that we did that's a real bummer, and I know we talked very, very briefly about this, is we were involved in the Norton cleanup day when that was still going on pre-COVID.
Right.
We were approached by Bob Kimball at the time to see if we had any interest, and we absolutely did. And what we would do is, if folks participated in the cleanup day and went down to the public works, they would get a wristband. And if you helped in cleanup and then dropped off, and then you showed up here afterwards with that wristband, we provided a free cookout. It was just kind of an incentive for people to be involved, although I'm not sure the people who were involved needed much incenting. They were there to help the town.
Right.
But that's the type of stuff that we really, really like doing. Rob, our bartender, this Saturday is going out and with a couple of our other staff doing the res cleanup that's going on Saturday. That's the type of stuff where 2 years ago we really wanted to start doing concerts on the Common, but unfortunately Triple E cut all that short. And then last year was COVID. So, now that we know that we're going to be here a lot more permanently, this is all the stuff that we really, really want to be involved in. And it's not from a sales perspective. It's this whole concept of living room of the community. This is a natural gathering spot. We have the capability. We want to be part of this community. That's the type of stuff we really want to be a part of.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, as part of the ending of this conversation, is there anything else you want the public to know?
You put me on the spot. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Again, I think the big thing is, we just try to be comfortable and laid back. We want people to come and think of this as a gathering spot, even if you're not a quote-unquote beer drinker. We have hard seltzer, but I know that doesn't broaden the horizon that much. But it's kind of regardless. This is still a really comfortable space. It's a good space for people to come and meet and hopefully have a lot of fun.
And I agree, you have great beers here.
Thank you.
So I want to thank Brian for being here today, and I hope you all will consider coming down to Bog Iron. It's at 33 West Main Street in Norton.